Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 815 Exchange. I'm your host, Chris Control, and we are live from the 336 once again for episode 158 of the 815 Exchange. And man, we got drama. Alright, we got drama. We got drama on this episode, big time drama episode. People are unhappy. People are in disgust. People are just, we got all of the drama, alright? Especially in soccer, oh my drama, okay? I didn't even have this down for the roundup, but now we got to talk about James Harden because there's drama, okay? Just there's drama everywhere, okay? Which is good for me because that means I have content. In a week, I was not sure whether I was going to have that much content, but now we have content, so I appreciate it. I appreciate the sports world. Not really entertainment, not too much to talk about. We got winning time and you know that type of stuff. But yeah, I really do. I appreciate it, sports world, for delivering the goods once again. As always, remember to like, share, and subscribe if you guys are enjoying the content. And as always, everything you're looking for can be found in the description below. Can be found in the description below. All of my social media links. By the way, new outro incoming. Just wanted to say that. New outro. And for Ocho Reacts, probably going to make a little intro for that. So yeah, some new graphics on the way in terms of the content. Probably not for this episode because I was busy working on another project. But I did purchase an Envato Elements subscription. Shout out to Envato. They did not pay me to say that though. If you want to pay me in future videos to use that sponsorship, feel free to email me. It is in my channel profile. But, yeah, so I'll be getting my money's worth with that and kind of updating some of the graphics. Plus, it's time. We've had a lot of these graphics for a long time. Probably won't change the intro to this, so don't worry. I know some of you love the 815 intro and want me to keep that, so that will be staying. But some of the other stuff we'll be kind of tinkering with. But, yeah. Life update. Went back to the city. Went back to my city. We were in the 704 this past weekend. It was good to be back in my city. Didn't go out, didn't do anything crazy, of course, but, yeah, went with my dad. He wanted to get back before he goes back to teaching, so, went, showed him around the city, showed him around South Park, so, yeah, that was fun, that was cool and stuff, but yeah, it was good to be back in the Charlotte area, and hopefully I can be back, and we can be back alive from the 704 very, 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 very soon, and I can get back to the rest of my life. But, enough about me. Combat Sports, which is probably right here. If I didn't put it right here, y'all can let me know, by the way, if you want to say in the comments whether you'd like them to pop up right there or right there. I'm probably going to pop it up right here, even though it covers the mic. Anyways, Combat Sports. Emmanuel Navarrette and Oscar Valdez we have to talk about from the jump. Okay, even though this wasn't like a unification matchup, it was still a title fight, and boy oh boy, it was one of the fights of the year. Emmanuel Navarrette had over 1,000 punches. Over 1,000 not thrown, landed on Oscar Valdez. By the way, win or lose, Oscar Valdez has to be one of the pound for pound. Put him in the pound for pound list for most entertaining boxers because he always delivers. Whether it's him getting KO'd or getting beat to a pulp like here, or just he's a warrior. All right, he's got that Mexican like warrior spirit. Like he's got it. All right, he's got it. But shout out to Navarrete because he got the win. He stays the WBO Junior Lightweight Champion at 130. For those that do not know, of course, that is a division that's in a lot of flux right now because a lot of that star talent like Shakur has stepped up to 135 and continues to grow. So it's in a little bit of a flux right now. But he does want a unification bout versus Joe Cordina next. I think that's the way to go as well. But yeah, what a performance from Navarrete. Closed Ovi's eye. So yeah, Valdez took a beating, gave some back, but yeah, Navarrete absolutely got that. It was an incredible match. If you can catch the highlights of it or look it up on YouTube, highly would recommend. Anthony Joshua, which I don't have to tell you to look up for it, because you definitely saw it on your IG or Twitter feed. I mean, first off, it was supposed to be against, was it Dylan White or was it Chisora? I think it was Dylan White who he was supposed to fight, but that didn't work out. Could have been Chisora though. It was either White or Chisora. For some reason, I'm brain farting and I cannot remember. But one of those two was supposed to be the big British matchup. Anyways, they popped. So, Helenius, Robert Helenius, common matchup with who AJ wants to fight next, and we'll get to that. He steps up to the plate, and, you know, I mean, woo. 7th round, a vicious, absolutely vicious KO The AP poll, by the way, just dropped. If you see me looking to the right, Georgia is still #1. But, yeah, vicious right. Absolutely vicious right hand. And, yeah, overhand right. Then that's all she wrote. Okay? That's all she wrote. Puts Helenius down like a sack of bricks. AJ celebrates. Honestly, AJ should have got it done a little bit earlier. Helenius was not in his, level. But I think even though it's good, and, it's good for, fighters to be patient and to box, but sometimes it's like, bro, just put him out, man. You don't have to always go sweet science. If you can brawl and get this guy out, just brawl and get this guy out. But, yeah, we will see what happens next. He's got Wilder next. That's about a 50-50 fight. Though the last time I said a 50-50 fight, it was a mauling. So we'll see. We will see. And that was Bud and Spence, if you do not remember, from a couple weeks ago. But we will see. But that's who they want next. I think that's the fight to make. It makes sense. 2 former world champions. Yeah, who a win would put them back in championship contention. So, yeah, AJ versus Wilder next should happen. Great KO for Helenius, though. UFC had an event this past weekend headlined by Vicente Luque versus Rafael dos Anjos, the 2 Brazilians. I think a lot of people, the idea of RDA continues to be greater than the actual, output of RDA, and I think a lot of people forget that. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, we got bad RDA. I mean, Vicente Luque kind of dominated, to be fair. Not that RDA didn't put up a fight. He did, but listen, there's levels to this game, and Luque is simply put on a different level. So no surprise, Luque gets the UD. Was not the most exciting fight in the world. I'm not going to be lie to you. But, I mean, that's just kind of an RDA fight for you. But, yeah, Luque gets back on track. He gets the win. Cub Swanson in the co-main event. Got the UD on Dawada. That was a nice moment with his kids. He had an emotional moment. Cub Swanson, longtime UFC veteran. So, yeah, shout out to him. Also on this card, Roundtree with a nice KO. Beautiful, beautiful work. And quick work of Chris Dukakis. Lucinda subs Polyana, who looks like she might be going to Twitch streaming very, very, very soon full time. Because, yeah, Lucinda did not have a great record going into this. And for Viana to get subbed in the fashion that she did is not a great look. However, more importantly, in the combat sports side of things, UFC 292 is this week. Okay? UFC 292. Aljo versus the Sugar Show. Aljamain Sterling defends his crown versus Sean O'Malley in Boston. And, well, that's going to be a banger. I think Aljo, listen, I really shouldn't doubt Sean after he kind of sent Peter Yan into the spiral that he's currently on. But I can't go against Aljo in this fight. As much as I love Sean, it'd be cool to see him as champion because of his personality and because of his fighting style. Listen, Aljo, I think, is just more complete, and I think he can find ways and holes in Sugar's game to beat him. That's just how I think it's going to go. Sure, Sugar get the flash KO with the power, but I think Aljo's pretty formidable on his feet as well. I think he's a pretty complete fighter, so yeah, we'll see. But I got Aljo. Still love you, Sugar, but I'd have to pick Aljo if I was a betting man. Co-main event, we got Whaley taking on Amanda Lamas, I believe. Yes, Lamas in the strawweight competition for the strawweight title. It is, you never know in strawweight. I feel like you never know. I feel like Whaley could lose this and then get it back. That division is always a lot of the women's division, especially with even though Nunes is still Nunes, but like with Chev and just kind of them kind of losing their grips on being the dominant forces in those divisions. We've seen a little bit of them in a flux and a changing of the guard. Seen a little bit of parity, should I say, in those divisions. And I feel like strawweight's kind of unpredictable. Whaley should be the favorite, but you never know. Honestly, right now in the era we are with women's fighting, I feel like you never know. I wouldn't rule us out. Betting man, I gotta pick Whaley, but do not count Lamas out. But yeah, should be very interesting. Zhang is a very, very, very exciting fighter. Should be, I think it could end up being a sleeper card. The rest of the card doesn't really excite me the way some of the earlier cards we've seen and talked about on the show have. But do not be shocked. Do not be shocked if this card ends up being a banger, especially those last 2 fights. And yeah, we'll see what happens. Talk about that on episode 159. Now, MLB. And of course, we are talking about the Atlanta Braves. Because I have to talk about the Atlanta Braves. I have to. They are the best team in baseball, even though they did lose yesterday to the New York Mets. So congratulations, Mets. You got your lick back after losing doubleheader. First game, 21-3. I mean, it's just been gruesome. But anyways, the Braves have been flying. Ozzy Albies. Okay, we've talked about Ronald Acuna multiple. He's still doing Ronald Acuna things, okay? Is that a good summary of Acuna? Okay, I don't need to go into the whole, he's on pace for 40 and 8. Okay, you got it? You know what's going on. Okay, let's talk about the other 15,000 players they have going crazy. Particularly Ozzy Albies, second in RBIs in the... Second. Don't let the short stature get you confused. Don't let the weight listed get you confused. The bat speed is there and the power is there. 28 home runs for Albies. He's second in RBIs with 90. Only behind one man. One man that has conquered even Shohei Ohtani this year in terms of power statistics. One man. And that one man's name is Matthew Olson. Also known as Matt Olson. It's starting to feel like the Braves fleeced the Athletics in a way. Because Olsen, I mean, has been a phenom. He's been phenomenal. Phenomenal this year. 43 home runs, 107 RBIs. Easily his best power year. Or at least on pace for his best power here. I don't know what... He's going to end up with like, what? 120, 130 RBIs? That's insane. That's insane. Maybe 140 if he goes on a tear. Like, it's just insane what he's doing. He's on fire. And he's been a big catalyst alongside Albies and Acuna, especially on that offensive side of the ball. Kind of generating and helping the Rays to that best record. So, yeah, Matt Olson, I'm giving him his flowers. He is now the leader in home runs and RBIs in the entire MLB after this week. Because he was just a monster. Absolute monster this week. Spencer Strider, by the way, after a slow start, is back to doing Spencer Strider things. He's over 200 Ks. Yeah, and of course that Braves just is cold. They're good, all right? They're the goods. Simply put, the Atlanta Braves are the goods. They are the best team in baseball. They will be World Series favorites, likely heading bar injury. And yeah, Braves doing Braves things. The Baltimore Orioles are still doing Baltimore Oriole things. Them in Seattle had a very, very good series, by the way, this past week. Culminated with Cedric Mullins doing some, that was some road to the show player type stuff. Robs a homer, and then in the next inning, in the top of the 10th, hits the go-ahead home run to give them the win over Seattle. So yeah, Mullins, just absolutely insane day yesterday for him. Got to give a shout out though, Seattle, for Julio Rodriguez and Ty France. They were great this series. J-Rod really kind of building off that momentum he got during the home run derby, which is something we usually we see, especially in the NBA. As well when they do like the slam dunk contest. But you also see it in MLB with the home run derby. Sometimes you can see players like cool off after, performances there. J-Rod has done the opposite. So we'll see if he can keep that momentum up. Seattle, of course, fighting for playoff position. It's getting real tight in the AL. And of course, it's not good for my Yankees, but we are not going to talk about that. Now, entertainment. All right, entertainment, ladies and gentlemen, is not a lot to talk about, okay? Not going to lie to you. Winning Time, episode 2, season 2. Still good. Very interesting dynamics, okay? Kind of setting the stage for those that do not know and just watching the show and don't know the whole story of the 80s Lakers. Setting up storylines that you're going to see really kind of come to fruition with the pace that we're going at in the coming episodes and just kind of over the history of the team. Of course, you got Norm Nixon versus Magic Johnson. They're going back and forth. Magic returns. He's not fully back. He's dealing with the knee, trying to get it better. But Norm and them, we were doing well in the system. Norm's feeling himself as he has the entire series. He feels the type of way about Magic getting the attention. They're trying to share the ball. It's a mess, okay? Then they patch it up, and then Pat and Paul Westhead, who were the next people I was going to highlight, they get into it about Pat helping Magic rehab and apparently not telling Paul his knee was that bad. So yeah, they just fall apart and they fall out again, and then it's just bad. All right, it was just bad all around for the Lakers. Chemistry was completely shot for that 81-82 season, or was it 81-82 season? Really 1982 season. So yeah, or was it 1981? Yeah, just completely shot, absolutely shot. So Yeah, they lose to Houston. Of course, you guys got to see the infamous air ball by Magic, which honestly nowadays, if we had social media, can you imagine a player of Magic Johnson's stature airballing to lose a series? Can you imagine if LeBron or KD fired up an airball to lose a first-round playoff series after winning the championship? Can you imagine the slander? Can you imagine the slander? Magic got, slandered for it, but can you imagine that on the social media age? That would be absolutely insane. But yeah, Magic airball, that actually did happen, by the way. And yeah, David Thompson talk, Skywalker, even though he was pretty much out of the league by this time. So I think they took a little bit of creative liberty there. But nonetheless, yeah, Winning Time delivers a good, still good episode. Music, nothing really happened, to be honest. Trippie Redd dropped an album. CK dropped an album. Didn't get to listen to either of those two, so if you listen to them, feel free to let me know. But Headie One did drop a single, More Money, More Problems. It was good. Usual Headie stuff. Good quality. Playlist. So, yeah, if you want to check that out, feel free to. I give the cosign. But that was entertainment. All right, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for the main event of the evening. The Women's World Cup. You know, I take great satisfaction in this next result. I really, really do. I really, really do take so much satisfaction in this next result. I really do. I mean, Spain beats Netherlands 2-1 in one of the best games, by the way. I want to say, one of the best games of the World Cup. One of the best games of the World Cup. It's phenomenal. Went to extra time, late winners, all that jazz. But I just want to say, before I talk about Spain and what happened, you know, Netherlands, maybe, just maybe, if you'd have focused on who you were actually playing in the quarterfinal, if you would have actually focused on Spain and kept the USA out of your mouth, instead of talking about us all, talking crazy all week, and in particular you, Bernstein, if you kept this out of your mouth, maybe, just maybe, you would have had the gall to finish the match and beat Spain. You could have been going to the semis. But no, it was take shots at the U.S. Women's National Team week, and you decided to take part. And look what happened. All that talk, all that, you caught up, you're better than, and then you lost. You couldn't finish. You folded against Spain. Man, oh man. This kicked off 80 whatever minute. Spain gets a penalty. Calendente finishes it off. Netherlands strikes back, gets back into it. 91st minute. Steph van der Gracht gets a 91st minute game tire, and we are game on. But like I said, Netherlands was worried about what America was doing and wasn't really worried about Spain, and that's going to be a little bit of an issue considering what happened in the next match now makes Spain, as I stated, well, at the beginning of this World Cup, the World Cup favorites. That's going to be an issue when you don't focus on them. Because, yeah, a lack of focus causes Spain to counter, and boy, did they counter back with a 111th minute game winner. Shout out to Pararulo. And, yeah, Spain advances to the semis. Once again, like I said, they are the team to beat. They are the World Cup favorites, especially considering what happened in the next match. But yeah, Netherlands, the Dutch. What happened? Y'all were high and mighty. Y'all were high and mighty, topped the group. You know, America's washed. Didn't worry about Spain, but America's washed. You know, I guess y'all didn't really care about the World Cup. As long as y'all beat us, right? As long as you shut us up, you know, it was all good. Forget closing the game and finishing the game and winning, winning the World Cup, which is something you still haven't done in the history of your entire program. But you beat us. So congrats. Oh, wait, you didn't even beat us. You drew us in a game we should have won. But you know what? Y'all caught up, right? You're caught up. Good job, Spain. Good job. Japan is no more. Yes, Sweden finally conquers Japan after they looked pretty much unbeatable and had me convinced. All right, I will come up here and I was wrong. I said Japan was damn near a foregone conclusion to win the World Cup last week. I was wrong, okay? I was wrong. I should have stuck with Spain. But yeah, Sweden did a great job. All right, very impressive. They controlled the game against Japan, which is what nobody else has been able to do, even though Japan is known for their counterattacking, as we've stated so many times throughout this World Cup. They still control the game through their counterattacking, right? They've still had control. They've still been able to be explosive and just kind of turn the game on a win. Sweden controlled the game through and through. They put in balance, which is what Japan's game has not had all World Cup long. There's been no balance, right? It's been this chaotic dominance in one way or another when Japan plays that always teeters in their favor. Sweden incorporated a balance, and yeah, they went up 2-0, controlled the game. Possession ended up being 50-50, which is a counterattacking team is not usually ideal. So, yeah, credit where credit is due. To Sweden, they got it done. Ilstedt, Engdahl, they got the goals. Japan scored late to make it 2-1, but yeah, just ran out of time. And Sweden, like I said, they control the game. Credit where credit's due. They will take on Spain in the semifinal tomorrow. So we will talk about that in the final next week on episode 159. What about the other two games? Who's going to be in the other semifinal? Well, thanks for asking. Another one of the best games of the World Cup, specifically because this had the greatest penalty shootout in the history of any World Cups, men's or women's. Hell, probably the U's, all right? The best, all right? It was certainly the longest, 21 penalties, and it took a 7-6 score for Australia to finally take down France and pull off yet. It feels weird because they're a good team to call them like a Cinderella, but they weren't necessarily the favorites, I guess, in these matches. But it feels kind of weird to call them a Cinderella. But the Cinderella story of them being at home and, making it to the World Cup final and potentially winning continues. Even with Sam Kerr not at 100%, doing Sam Kerr things, even though she did convert a penalty in that penalty shootout, Australia has still found ways to win. And, yeah, just that crowd, that momentum. Sometimes in these tournaments and just any tournament, it's who's the hottest team. Right? Who's the team that can get that momentum? We've seen it so many times here in the States in the NCAA tournament, right, in March Madness. Whoever is the hottest team usually wins, right? Whoever can pull it together and get that momentum and get it going, get that engine going at the right time can win. And right now, Australia appears to be that team. We will see if it works out. But yeah, incredible penalty shootout. Incredible guts from that team to take out France. A very talented France team. So credit where credit's due. Shout out to Australia. Doing bits here this World Cup. France, I know they might burn down every post on every single soccer goal or football goal, should I say, in the country because they hit the post way too many times. But that's just how the game goes. Who will play Australia? None other than England. It still could be coming home. Euros came home. Is the World Cup coming home? We will see. No LJ this game, but it didn't matter. All right. Colombia, another really good. The semifinals were all pretty competitive, I will say. England gets the win 2-1. Colombia went up, and then right before halftime, Miss Hemp, Lauren Hemp, with one of the, such an important goal. Such an important goal to bring that momentum right back and calm that England team after I believe Colombia scored in the 38th minute. You could get that doom and gloom. How do we fight back? And to answer right back in the 51st minute, 45 plus 6 of stoppage time right before halftime. To get that goal right before halftime, hugely important. So yeah, shout out to Hemp. Alessia Russo gets another goal. She has been one of the best players of this tournament. And arguably, besides Lauren James, the best player for England in this tournament, okay? But yeah, Russo, she gets the game winner. England's able to hold down. Colombia tried, gave it a hell of an effort those last 20 minutes, but it was not to be, and England advances to take on Australia in the World Cup semifinals. LJ will also be out for that, but in the event that England does make the final, she will be back for that, which will be huge, and we will see. I think we've got two really good matchups in Spain versus Sweden and England versus Australia that are going to have some very compelling matchups and very compelling storylines here as we get close to the World Cup final. But we will see. We will see. We're going to have a new champ, obviously, but who will it be? I think Spain's got to be the favorite, but as I always say, we will see. With that said, ladies and gentlemen, we have the world's longest roundup. Yes, this is a long roundup, so strap in. First off, got to talk NASCAR first, okay? We always start the roundup usually with racing, so we will do that. F1, of course, is on summer break still. But we do have NASCAR, and it is getting quite spicy. It's getting quite interesting in the world of NASCAR, as we now only have 2 races before the playoffs and 3 playoff spots left. And we got a lot of really good drivers competing for those last 3 spots. And the winners just keep piling up. This week it's Michael McDowell, who had a dominant week at the Indy Road Course, or the Brickyard Road Course, however you want to call it. Dominant week. Really, there's no other way to describe it, okay? He led the most laps. I mean, he just smoked the field. It was McDowell's week, and he delivers the win. Most dominant race for Front Row Motorsports, I believe, in their team's history. So, yeah, shout out to McDowell. He enters the playoff. Got to take advantage. Got to take advantage of your opportunities. Suarez talked a lot about that in that post-race interview. He started off on the pole. Bad pit stop. May have cost him a chance to compete with McDowell for that win. He needs a win to get in. So, yeah, it's getting very interesting. Bubba, Chase Elliott right now is on the outside. We got Watkins Glen and Daytona. Watkins Glen might be a chance for Chase and some of those road course specialists. But Daytona, we all know, Daytona can be very, very, very chaotic, which is the beauty of it. So you don't want to rely on, hey, I got to get a result at Daytona, because anything can happen at Daytona, which is also a great reason why it's the race before the playoffs. But we will see. It's heating up in NASCAR, though. Soccer. I could have put this in the Women's World, but I want to let the Women's World Cup kind of get its own space to cook. So we'll talk men's soccer right now. First off, before we get to drama, Messi and Ronaldo did go things this past week, and it was glorious. It was like a decade ago, you know. It was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful in their respective leagues now. MLS, unfortunately, Charlotte FC was playing Miami. Not in Charlotte, which would have been really cool, because I'd have probably, maybe, depending on ticket prices, gone to that game. But they were in Miami. They beat the brakes off of Charlotte FC, to be completely honest. That Inter Miami team has been completely different, okay? I don't know how many of you watched the MLS before Messi came over, or watched Miami before, but that team was the worst team. The worst team in the MLS. They are on a cup run for the ages currently. Since he's arrived, he's winning the Golden Boot currently in the tournament. And yeah, he did it again. He did it again. That's all I need to say. Just another great performance from Messi. And then Ronaldo scores a brace over in Saudi to get Al Nassr the win in their Champions Cup versus Al Hilal, who we're about to talk about. And yeah, vintage Ronaldo stuff. Gets the brace, gets the game winner in extra time. So yeah, CR7, the GOATs. All right, the GOATs with an S. Doing GOAT things. So yeah, that was cool to see. Speaking of Al Hilal, breaking news as of this morning and yesterday, it appears Neymar is headed to Al Hilal at 31, which I feel like a lot of people are like, yo, he's wasting his career. But it's like, how many times have we seen these great young players, these great players in soccer burn through their 20s, they've been great, and then they just kind of fall off a cliff, injuries start to happen. And even though Neymar's still a quality player, I think we can almost classify it as this, okay? So him falling, it feels weird to say falling off, but him falling over to Saudi is not too surprising or too shocking, to be completely honest. I think a lot of people still have this perception of Neymar as he was the next one. He was the next one. He was supposed to be the one after Messi and Ronaldo. He was supposed to get the torch and then hold it until whoever is next, probably Mbappe and now Haaland, I guess. He was supposed to be that guy. He's supposed to be the guy right now, actually. It's supposed to be his era. But it did not work out like that. Unfortunately, it did not work out like that. Though Neymar was still, statistically and performance-wise, was still one of the best players of this era. Don't get it twisted. He was still somebody. But I understand that people were like, man, what could have been with Neymar? He could have been even better. He was this good, but he could have been even better. But yeah, we will see. He's very, very likely. Would be very shocked for us to not go through now at this point. Headed to Al Hilal for 99 million, I think, euros. So, end of the road for Neymar. But honestly, not too surprising in a way. Kind of fits with the player that he's become. Harry Kane, more transfer news. Drama's not done. Harry Kane. Even though this wasn't really drama-filled because Spurs fans kind of understood, but boy, oh boy, did it get funny. Harry Kane is now a Bayern Munich player. The legendary Spurs and English striker and frontman has now headed over to Germany to hopes to play meaningful football and win trophies. Because, of course, we all know about the Spurs curse. Well, he had an opportunity. He was dressed and played in the German Super Cup final against Red Bull Leipzig. Did not start. And it appears that he brought the curse with him. Because Dani Olmo scored a disgusting hat-trick with that. I mean, that second goal. Woo, 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 woo. That's the turn. Oh, my goodness. The turn, and then he just, like, poked it in. Oh, that was gorgeous. That was gorgeous. Dani Olmo was on one, and Leipzig gets the win in the German Super Cup to deny Harry Kane a trophy in a final yet again. Is he the problem? It feels very wrong to say. Is Harry the curse? Maybe it wasn't Spurs this whole time. Lads, maybe it's Harry Kane. It's not Spurs, potentially. It might just be Harry Kane. So we're going to see. Sonny gets named the new captain. But yeah, that was just a peak soccer humor. Soccer gods humor. Football gods humor. Descending upon Harry Kane to instantly fail at getting the trophy upon his arrival at Bayern Munich. The Prem is back. Arsenal look great. Chelsea looks like they're spending 100 million more than they probably should, as always. They got Moises Caicedo, by the way, for Brighton rinsed Chelsea, by the way. Caicedo, maybe he turns out to be some world-class midfielder and one of the best. I mean, with that price tag, you better be one of the best midfielders in the world. But I think Brighton rinsed them in that case. But yeah, they didn't look too great, to be honest, yesterday. Arsenal looked great, though. Saka, wonder goal. Martinelli also looked good. Yeah, Arsenal looks good. We'll see if they can compete with Man City again. Real Madrid also kicked off. Jude Bellingham is already pissing off Atletico Bilbao. He scored a goal and then had a very iconic picture, which I probably popped up if I could find it, for the kind of cover photo right here to the right to show you guys what happened. But yeah, Real Madrid, business as usual. Still need a striker. I mean, so many torn ACLs. Mulatto, Courtois, they just loaned Kepa. Mbappe, situations up in the air. Then again, that was only supposed to be. I don't know why, the way, with the rumors that Mbappe is going to PSG, by the way, crap the bed. So now they're bringing Mbappe back. That's what's happening. Okay? They realize that, hey, we're screwed. We need to play the best player in the world, possibly. That might be a good idea. So that's what's happening under the guise of Mbappe might be signing an extension. We'll see if he actually signs an extension. But I don't get why people are acting like he was using Madrid for leverage to sign another extension. That's not what's happening. But nonetheless, Real Madrid, get it done. See if they can compete with Barca and, strike back. Golf. I told you this is long roundup, excuse me. Lucas Glover stays hot after he won the Wyndham this week. He comes back, he wins the St. Jude in a playoff versus Patrick Cantley. After all that time in between wins, goes back-to-back, 15 under. Glover, he's on fire. He's taking the world by storm. Hell, he might even make the Ryder Cup team. All right, it's Luca Glover's time at 43. He is the guy, it seems. Can he go 3 for 3? But yeah, he's got all the momentum in the world. We're in the playoffs, so you never know. Lucas Glover, though, shout out to him. NFL preseason is here. Of course, we'll talk more about that. Everybody making their debut. I think every rookie quarterback threw a pick this past weekend, so welcome to the NFL. Except for Bryce, who instead got beaten to bits by the New York Jets defense, because the Panthers have absolutely no offensive line depth. But nonetheless, that happened. Deuce-Vaughn looked good for the Cowboys. QJ scored a touchdown I saw for the Chargers. And yeah, going to be very interesting. Of course, college football almost back soon as well. Like I said, the AP poll popped up on the screen over to the right that I was looking at. So yeah, football is back. We'll talk more about that next week. But for now, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed Ocho. Signing off.